Hello, my name is Jeff Monnery and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how I do this. So this is a very simple, very easy to make lower third. So without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so what we're gonna do first is to create a new composition, of course. So what we do is just click here. We're just gonna rename it lower third 002 because this is the second lower third. If you haven't seen the first one, you can check out the YouTube channel and you will see it. So yeah, let's do it in 1080p, 24 frames per second, 10 second, and black background color. Click OK, and then we're gonna click here, toggle transparency grid, and then we're gonna create the line. So the line in the middle. So to do so, we're going to click here in the rectangle tool, double click on it, and it's gonna create a rectangle. Then click here, rectangle 1, rectangle path 1, and here's the size of the rectangle. So we're gonna unlink here, and we're gonna say, okay, maybe gonna say 1000 for the length, and 10 for the height. So basically we have it's kind of a line with a stroke of 10 pixels, kind of. So yeah, I like it that way, so we can do it, we can let it that way. Then we're gonna rename it, I don't know, line, very original. And then we're going to change the color. So make sure that stroke is non-existent. So click on it and click here in none. And for the fill, we're gonna change the color to white. Then what we're gonna do is just duplicate it. So click on it and click Command D on your keyboard if you're on Mac, or Control D if you're on Windows, or just, you know, click here, edit, and duplicate. And then what we're gonna do next is just animate the second line. So we're gonna hide the first one. So right now it doesn't change anything because the second line is on top of the first one, and since both of them are exactly the same, right now we see all of them. So we're gonna hide the first one, and then for the second one we're gonna click S, or just transform and scale here, so S for the scale. And then we're gonna unlink here by clicking on the little link here, and then we're gonna click on the stopwatch at 0 seconds, and maybe we're gonna go to 2 seconds. You can go wherever you want. I'm gonna go at 2 seconds, but obviously you can go at 1 or even 1.5, or you know, whatever you want. So I'm gonna click on 2 seconds, and then I'm gonna rewrite here 0. So 0. That way when you play it, you should see this. So then I'm going to select both keyframes. Click F9 on your keyboard, or just right click, keyframe assistant, easy ease, and then click on the graph editor here. If you don't see this, by the way, just next to the eye you have this icon. Click on it and make sure that Edit Speed Graph is checked. Then click on the curve and click and hold the yellow thing here and drag it here in the middle. Then click again on the graph editor icon to go back to the normal timeline, and then play it back, and you should see it. You should see this. So then we're gonna click here on the eye here, or well, it's empty now, but when you click on it, an eye appears. So that way you unhide the first line. So right now, if we click on it, everything is the same that we did at the beginning, because right now we see only the first line. Well, we kind of see the second line, but because the first line is exactly the same right now, we don't see the second line, the animation we just did for the second line. So what we're gonna do is just click here on track matte. If you don't see this, click on toggle switches and modes, and here we're gonna click on alpha inverted matte line 2. That way when you play back, you're gonna see this. So basically what we see here in the middle, even though it's empty, actually what we see is the second line, what we animated in the first place, so this one. We see this, that is closing, kind of. And yeah, but since it's invisible, what we see here is we don't see what's behind the invisible line. So we don't see the line and we don't see what's behind it. So it's kind of, you know, empty thing. Well, I don't know how to explain it correctly, so if you don't understand, please let me know in the comment section. Maybe I'm gonna be better at writing. So yeah, feel free to comment on this video. Next, what we're gonna do is to create, we're gonna create, you know, here if we go back in our full animation, we're gonna create the first rectangle above and the second one below the line. So what we're gonna do is just double click on the rectangle tool again, and then I'm gonna go here, rectangle 1, rectangle path 1, and on the sides we're gonna unlink here, and we're gonna write 1000 because it's exactly the length of our line in the middle, so 1000. And here we're gonna write, I don't know, 150. You know, you'll see like this. It's good for me, but if it's not for you, like maybe 100, you know, or 200, maybe, I don't know. For me, 150 is good, so 150. Then what we're gonna do next is we're gonna animate it. So we're gonna click S on this layer, or we're just gonna go transform and scale here. So so what we're gonna do is go to 0, click on the stopwatch, go to 2 seconds again, because we went 2 seconds for the line, so we're gonna go to 2 seconds for the rectangle too. And then we're gonna unlink here and click 0 here. No, actually we're gonna, no, sorry, absolutely not. We're gonna click on the icon here at 0 second and write 0. Then when we play it back, I'm gonna see this, so we're gonna smooth it up. So select both keyframes, click F9 or right click keyframe assistant, easy ease. And then we're gonna click on the graph editor again. Here, click on the curve, drag the yellow thing in the middle by holding shift also. That way it snaps it directly and correctly. Then click back in the graph editor icon and then play it back. Yeah, it's smooth. Alright, like it. Then what we're gonna do, because we don't want it to, you know, animate it. We don't want to animate it on both sides. We want it to animate it like this. You know, like the first rectangle, if we see it, it's from the left to the right, not from the middle to both sides. So what we have to do is go to 2 seconds or after 2 seconds, and then go here, the anchor point, or click A on your keyboard. And then we're gonna change the anchor point, this. We're gonna change this here, this thing here. So we have 2 ways to make it. You can just click here in the anchor point tool and drag the anchor point here, and then click Command, or maybe it's Control for Windows. I don't really know actually for Windows, but for Mac it's Command. That way it snaps it directly here. Or I'm gonna go back, Command Z or Control Z on Windows. Or we have this this option here. We're just gonna write. So because the length is 1000, so we're gonna go write 1000 divided by 2, and then we're gonna write minus right before. So you should see this, and then we're gonna write minus 500 because 1000 divided by 2 is 500. If the length of your line or your rectangle would have been like, I don't know, 2000, you were gonna write 1000. But because our rectangle is, the length of the rectangle is 1000, so we divide the length by 2. Because the anchor point was at the beginning in the middle. So then what we have to do is, we're gonna play it back actually just to see if it's the way we want it. So it is. And then what we're gonna do is just click here, click on the arrow to, you know, make sure everything is hidden. And then we're gonna rename it. So background name, because it's gonna be the rectangle above the line. So it's gonna be the background of the name, background name. And then I'm gonna duplicate it. So edit, duplicate, or Command D on Mac or Control D on Windows. And then we're gonna rename it background position, because it's gonna be the position of the person in the company or in the business the person is working on. So to me it's gonna be Jeff Monnery and a videographer, because I am a videographer and my name is Jeff Monnery. So yeah, basically. And then what we're gonna do is just make sure that the rectangle for the name is above the line and the rectangle for the position is below the line. So we're gonna click P on your keyboard to make the position appear for the background name and the background position. Or you know, you just have to go to the arrow here, go to transform, and you can see the position here. But yeah, for me it's gonna be faster to click P on my keyboard. Then what we're gonna do is just so for the name I'm gonna write -100, and for the position +100. You know, to have a great. I mean, I like the gap between the line and the rectangles. If you want a bigger gap, you just have to write, I don't know, plus. So if we go back, plus, I don't know, 150. If you want a bigger gap. Oh no, sorry, it's this one. So yeah, 150. Or yeah, if you want a smaller gap, you can write 60. But yeah, to me, I really want it to be a bigger gap. So 100. Like this one is cool. To me, it's great. Then if we're gonna play it, like, but in the original one, in the lower third I made, you see that it's gonna come from right to left for the rectangle below the line. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the anchor point again. So two options, as I showed you earlier. So I'm gonna do it with the anchor point tool. So I'm gonna take the anchor point here and drag it to the right. I'm gonna hold Command on Mac. I truly don't know. I'm not sure at all if it's Control on Windows, but I'm sure it's Command on Mac, and it snapped automatically. Then when we play it back, the one above come from left to right, and the one below the line come from right to left. So it's perfect that way to me. Then maybe we're gonna change the color. So for the background name, I want it in blue. So I'm gonna select here the selection tool. And then here for the fill, I'm gonna choose a nice color. So I like the blue one. So I don't know, maybe this is gonna be cool. Yeah, I like it. Click OK, and then we're gonna write the text. So click on the text tool here and click anywhere and write your name or the name you want to write. So I'm gonna write my name, Jeff Monnery. And then here what we're gonna do is just click, well, we're gonna change the color to white. And then I'm gonna click on layer, transform and center anchor points in layer content. Or you have the shortcut here if you want to be faster. And then layer again, transform and center in view. Same, you have the shortcut here. I don't know how to say it in English, so that's why I'm not saying it at all. But yeah, you have the shortcuts if you want to use them. Alright, and then we're gonna click on P on your keyboard to make the position appear. And here we're gonna write -100 because before for the background name rectangle we wrote -100. Then yeah, it's here perfectly centered in the rectangle. Then we're gonna duplicate it, Command D or Control D on Windows, or edit duplicate, and we're gonna double click on it and write the position. So for me it's videographer. You can write whatever you want. Then click on P again, and then so I'm gonna write plus 100 to make it in the middle, or you could adjust, we could have just, you know, layer, transform and center in view. And then I'm gonna write plus 100 again to make it centered in the middle of the rectangle position here, the right rectangle. So then I'm gonna change the color. I'm gonna click on the eyedropper here, and I'm gonna select the color of the rectangle above the line. Then click OK, and that way we see this. And now if you play it back, there is no animation for Jeff Monnery videographer yet. So what we have to do to make sure that, you know, videographer and Jeff Monnery are appearing at the same time that the rectangle are appearing, what we're gonna do is just click on background name here, layer, Command D or Control D, or just edit duplicate, and put the duplicate above the name because it's background name too, so above the name. Same for the position, Command D or Control D on Windows, sorry, and put it above the position, so videographer here in this example. Then what we have to do is just click on Jeff Monnery, click on your name here, and so I'm gonna click on Jeff Monnery, but I'm sure you're not gonna write Jeff Monnery, or maybe you will, and that way I'm flattered, thank you. But yeah, here you're gonna go on track matte and select alpha matte background name too, and same for videographer or the position you wrote, alpha matte background position too. And now, yeah, it's appearing at the same time that the rectangle are appearing. So, but it's kind of static, like it doesn't move. So to give them some style, the same way we did here, like the texts are moving, like the position is not the same from beginning to end. So what we have to do is just go to 0 second, click on the stopwatch next to position, same for videographer or the position you wrote, and then go to 2 seconds and click here on the add or remove keyframe tool, and then here we go back in 0 second. So maybe we're gonna move, so here the x-axis, the horizontal axis, I'm gonna add more value, and for the position we're gonna remove some value or add less value. Here I'm gonna select all keyframe, click F9, or just right click keyframe assistant and easy ease, and then we're gonna select the name. I'm gonna click on the graph editor tool, up position, click on the curve, drag the yellow thing in the middle, same for the position, click on it of for the position of the position, wow. Click on the curve again, drag the yellow thing in the middle, click again on the graph editor icon to go back to the normal timeline, and what we see is this. Well, it's charging, okay. Play it back a second time. and what we see is the animation. Oh, saves. Perfect. So now what we have to do is just select everything, right click on all the layers, pre-compose, rename it, I don't know, I'm gonna rename it LT002 part, because it's gonna be one part. Click OK, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to I don't know, 4 seconds. 4 seconds is good. And then we're gonna click on Alt close bracket to make sure that, or you're just gonna have to trim it, so you can click here and drag it into 4 seconds. And then we're gonna duplicate it, Command D or Control D on Windows. I'm gonna move it in a way that the beginning of the layer is at the cursor here. And then we're gonna right click on it, on the second one we just duplicated, and we're gonna click on Time and Time Reverse Layer. And when we go back here and we play it, it's gonna take 8 seconds, so it's gonna appear and then it's gonna disappear. If we play it back, so it's appearing, it stays a little, that way people can see the name and the position, and then yeah, goodbye. Alright, yeah, that's it for me, guys. So if you liked the video, please press the like button. If you didn't like it, you can always press the dislike button. But if you do, please leave a comment to tell me why, and that way I can improve myself and be better the next times. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. And you can also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos about lower third and transition and infographics. And also check out the description section where you have the link of the free project file. So that way you can always download it, and if you don't want to create all the lower third and go to all the steps we went together in the video, you can always just use the project file you download, and yeah, you're good to go. So yeah, that's it for me, and I will see you in the next video.